and we didn't meet last Monday, so hopefully people still have this on their schedule. Otherwise, we'll get started. We're gonna work on unilateral movements today, which means working the left and the right side of the body on their own. So we're gonna learn a staggered stance deadlift and a single arm kettlebell swing. So we're progressing from what we already learned. But let's start warming up, and hopefully a few more people will join us. Go ahead and pull down into a squat, just shifting back and forth. A nice steep stretch at the bottom of that squat. Do about 5 of these. When you're done with that, tabletop position on your hands and knees. Fire hydrants. 5 on each side, and then repeat. All right. After that, when you're ready, we're going to do some shoulder W's. So hinge forward with the hip, pull the shoulder blades together at the back, making a W with the arms 10 times. Good. All righty. Now we're going to learn the staggered stance deadlift. So the staggered stance deadlift is the first step in a single leg deadlift. So the goal eventually will be to hold the bell and bring the leg back, hinge forward, and come up. To get there, we're going to start with the bell directly next to our foot, and the other foot like a little kickstand, like imagine a kickstand on a bike. Let me angle this down a little further so you can see my feet. So imagine your back leg as a kickstand on a bike. You're going to reach down by hinging. So like you would for a regular deadlift, but now your one leg's just back. Hinge, grab on, stand tall. So squeeze the glutes, drive the hips forward, and then go lower back down to the ground. So you should feel that in the front hamstring mostly. Good. Do a couple on that side and then go ahead and switch to feel that on the other side. So when you're coming down, you're touching right next to the instep of your foot. Stop barking. All right, looking good. So we're going to use that again later on. So remember that knowledge. We'll stick with that for now. Lay down. We're going to work on a single arm swing. So if you go back to how we learned the swing originally, we did one pop in and land. That's what we're going to do again now. So if you want, grab on with both hands, do a couple of swings, think about the movement of your body, how you come down to the middle. So we pop up, we swing back down, right? Now we'll land, take one hand away, same movement. You're going to hike back, pop up, come down, and land. Sorry, my video went up for a second there. So hike, pop, in, land. Let me check you out. Good. And then if we were to try the other arm, because our right arm is always easier if you're right-handed anyway. Good. All righty. Now that we learned those two things, I'm just going to give a couple quick pointers again for the single arm swing. Everyone I see right now is doing great, but for anyone watching the recording, I want you to remember when you come down, hips come back. You grab on, tip it forward towards you first to create that nice line from your shoulder. This arm's gonna be out to the side. I'm gonna swing back and come up. And my arm that's not holding the bell is still moving with me to help keep that momentum. And then I land the same way as if I had both my hands on it. All right, let's get to our circuit, get moving so we can get done. We're going to do 8 staggered stance deadlifts on our right, 8 on our left. Then we're going to do 10 single arm swings on the right, 10 on the left, no landing in between. We're just straight swinging. If for switching between your left and the right, though, we will land in the middle. We're not quite ready to do a switch in the air. After that, we will clean the bell up like we've been learning, and we'll do an offset squat. So you'll hold here, squat down, come up. As you see, I have my arm out for counterbalance here, and I'm keeping my body nice and straight, not letting it tip with the bell. And then to finish off, 8 cleans, left and right, to stick with that unilateral theme we have this week. All right, so let's start with those deadlifts. I'm going to start with my left foot forward, my right foot back, the bell directly next to my left foot. Now, I'm not going to land on the ground for these 8. I'm just going to hinge down and drive back up. When I'm done, I'll land and switch feet. All right, go ahead. 8 on each side. So hinge back, drive up. Good. And when you're done, switch to the other side. All righty. When you're done, we are swinging. So that was 8 and 8. This is 10 and 10. I'm going to start with my right arm. I'm going to tip back, do 10 swings, and land. I like to bring my arm forward to get that momentum going. That was 10 for me, so I land. I stand for a second, and then I hinge back down to grab on with my left. All righty. When you are done, take a breath, clean up, and we're doing a single arm front squat. 8. Now we're going to come down and switch arms. and come down. And we're practicing our cleans. So we're still doing a dead clean, which means it's coming from the bottom, right in front of me. I pull up like I'm zipping up a jacket. My thumb comes straight up the middle of my body, and I land right up here. So we'll do 8 of these on each side. Good. All right, that's 8 for me. Shake the hands out, arms out, and do the other side. And that's 8 for me. Go ahead and complete yours. If you feel like the bell is really flopping over, that might be because you're trying to pull with the arm too much and not really popping up. So I'm gonna pop up, keep the arm nice and tight, and it's like a little snap right here from your chest to your shoulder. And that's what sends the bell over. Also, I mean to say this at the beginning of every class, but I forget. When you're getting ready for this kettlebell class, do you have any rings you really care about, like a wedding ring or a engagement ring? Definitely take that off. And if you wear an Apple Watch, a Fitbit, something like that, turn the face of it to be on the inside of your wrist so that the bells aren't banging against it. I've seen a few broken Apple Watches and some very sad people. All righty. We're gonna go back to the top. 8 on each side. Staggered stance deadlift. So you're reaching down to grab on, stand tall, and repeat. Don't touch the ground in between your 8. When you're ready, switch to the other side. I just want to reiterate that what's sending this bell back down towards the floor is actually my hips coming back. And then my body's keeping that straight line that we learned for the hip hinge. And my arm's just following. And it's dipping down. And I'm driving the hips forward to stand back up. Alrighty, 10 swings each arm. So 10 right, 10 left. Good. You see me looking off to the other direction. I have the live participants on a screen. All right. So 10 and 10. We'll be finishing that up in the next few seconds. When you swing up, single arm, there's 3 things that you can do with that arm that's not working. You can bring it up to meet the bell to feel more like a regular swing. So it'll look like this. And I just kind of give it a little tap on the edge of my handle. You can bring it in like when you clean. This is my preference. I bring the arm in to where it would be when I clean. Or you can hold it out next to you for counterbalance. Personally, I prefer the first 2. Either swing up to meet the bell or swing in to where you would clean. All right. Speaking of cleans, clean that bell up. You have 8 squats on each side. So we want to make sure our knees are coming straight out towards those toes, not letting one side or both dip in, and keeping that back nice and tall. Don't let that belt tip you over. This is going to be challenging because most of you have a fairly heavy bell. Good work. It's just 8 on each side. I know it's a combination of 8 and 10. Sometimes we forget which number. All right. Take a deep breath. And then we're cleaning. So zipping that jacket up in the middle. So dead stop at the floor. Pop up, zip the jacket, and then you're punching back down. Go ahead, 8 on each side. Good. All right. All righty. 8 and 8. Take your time. Don't rush it. We got some time here, so we will go through this at least one more time. Grab some water, grab a breath. We'll give you a minute here to catch that breath. And then we will continue on. We're at 34, we have until 45, so we have about 7 minutes of active work, and then we'll cool down. Okay, that's about our minute there. We'll get back to the stagger stance deadlift. So I like to start, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this. I like to start with the handle and my foot parallel to each other when I do this stagger stance deadlift. It's more comfortable for my grip. I hinge down, grab on, and I stand tall. And I keep that bell handle parallel to my thigh as I go down and back up. Or not parallel now, in line with my thigh. All right, 8 on each side, go ahead. All righty. Hopefully you're feeling that in that front hamstring when you're doing it. That's where most of your weight should be. The back leg is just really there for balance because the goal will be that that leg comes up as we come forward. But you see my head and my hips still stay in that line and the leg just kind of comes with it. So in your free time, if you want to try the single leg with no weight, it's the same idea. The leg's just following the line of the body now. All right, 10 swings, left and right, or right and left. I don't care which side you start with, as long as you do 10 on each side. Go ahead. Keeping that back nice and straight. All righty. Most challenging one of the day, in my opinion. Next. Not technically, but strength-wise, most challenging. We're doing that single arm front squat. So clean that bell up. We got 8 on each side. When you're ready, go ahead. Keeping that elbow into the body. And a nice tight core, trying to arch that back or flare that chest. All right. We're gonna have some nice sore legs tomorrow. When you are ready, we're gonna clean up. 8 on the right, 8 on the left, starting from a dead stop at the floor each time. So hinge back, grab on, pop up. Go ahead. If you need to do a little stretch between left and right, go ahead. And then keep rolling. I'm gonna pop my rings off. I don't follow my own advice for the rings, and then they all get destroyed. Good. All righty. We only have a couple minutes left, so we're gonna stop there with the circuit. We had 3 good rounds. I'm going to quick go over how to transfer the bell in the air. Some of you might not be there yet, because if you're still having trouble with getting that bell to float, the bell's not going to hold itself up for the transfer. So this is the difference I'll show you first between a floating bell and a bell that's not ready to transfer because you're lifting with your arms. A floating bell is going to tilt slightly up towards the sky. There's a floating bell, a single arm floating bell. I'm exaggerating it a bit, but my bell's floating. A bell I'm lifting. See how it tips down. My wrist breaks. I no longer have that nice straight line. If your wrist is breaking, you're not going to be able to transfer the bell. It's going to drop. So you have to assess that for you, because I'm not going to be able to see all of you, since a lot of people watch on YouTube. Here's the bell transfer. When I get to the top of that float, I quick grab on and let go at the same time. So hop up, transfer. You see, the bell kind of floats on its own for a second, because that's the momentum that is taken. So I can just switch back and forth. If you get to the top, you think you're not ready for a transfer, no worries. Swing back down until you're ready. So couple swings. You think you're ready for a transfer? Go ahead. Make sure you're in a spot where that bell's not going to go flying through the window. All right, we got somebody try it. Let me look. That looks good. Yeah, your bell's got that nice little angle up at the bottom. That means your booty is what's sending it up and not your arms. Good work. All right. So moving forward with the rest of your week, if there's anything you want to practice, definitely the staggered deadlift with your weight, the single leg with no weight, just bring those arms out for balance. Maybe get yourself right next to a wall, where if you start to tip, you're gonna push yourself back up. Both sides, you hinge forward, drive up, and the transfer of the swing. so that when we do 10 left, 10 right, you won't have to land in between. You'll do 10 at the top of your 10th, you'll just switch over. So things to think about, practice during your week. We'll build on them next week. Let's stretch out that low back. We'll start with the child's pose. Down on the floor, reach far out in front of you. Pull the hips back. And decompress that spine. Each deep breath, you go a little deeper. All right. You feel like you got a good stretch there. Flip over to sit on your bottom. One leg in, the other leg out. We're going to combine the stretch of the hamstring and the low back. You're going to reach over, reach out towards that toe if you can reach it. If not, reach as far down the leg as you can and reach that arm over. Again, deep breaths. With each deep breath, you go a little deeper. When you think you've reached the deepest part of that stretch, go ahead and switch to the other leg. So you can feel that nice back in the back of your leg. If not, you might need to sit your hips forward a little bit and reach out over top. You should feel that in the opposite side of your back, the side you're reaching from. All right, bring the legs together, sit tall. We're just gonna walk our hands, so start your hands to the thigh, walk your hands down as far as you can. Get to that deepest part as far as you can, take a couple deep breaths, and then see if you can reach a bit further. All right, go ahead and come up. And that's all I have for you this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I saw some good things on the video. Thank you. I will see you later this week or next Monday.